Oh, good. Well, good morning, and it is 11:03, and I would like to call to order the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee on Thursday, December 14, 2023. But before we begin, please note the meeting is being recorded. Welcome to my colleagues and everyone joining us here in person, as well as those listening in on the phone. If you would like to participate and provide public comment at today's meeting, we would welcome that. And if you've not already done so, please let Thomas in the back of the room. I'm so short. Thomas is there. There you have it. Or Justine on the call-in line. Let what items you would like to speak to be made known. Madam Secretary, please begin by calling the roll.
Thank you. I'm going to start with Director Cochran.
Here.
Thank you. Conway is absent. Warren is absent. Rabbit in the hallway. Here. Here. Vice Chair Maston is absent. Chair Garbarino.
Here.
Thank you. And President Terrio.
Here.
Okay, so you don't have a quorum yet, but you are a committee of the whole, because in the room we also have directors Giudice, Grosval, Hernandez, Hill, Rodoni, and Snyder. So we are A-OK.
Wonderful, and thank you, Amaret. And my voice is a little bit different. I can assure you all I've called the doctor. I am not contagious, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I adore you all. I wouldn't want to give this to anyone who I didn't adore. Great. Thank you. We want to be equal. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers located on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. We will begin with agenda item number 3, which is to approve actions relative to the National Park Service Special Use Permit for contract number 2016-B-1, Golden Gate Bridge Physical Suicide Deterrent System and Wind Retrofit. The staff report begins again on page 3, and Ava Bauer-Furbish is here to present the report. Ava, please begin.
Thank you, Chair Garbarino, members of the committee. Agenda item 3 and 4 staff reports related to the suicide deterrent construction project and to the fact that we incurred delay in the construction. So the contractor's most recent schedule shows that they will be finishing the net installation early next year. However, there is a problem with the delay in fabrication and installation of the new maintenance travelers on the suspension bridge. And the current schedule that the contractor sent us shows that this installation will not be done until sometime middle of 2027. So what this necessitates that we extend the special use permit that was issued for the construction of the project by the National Park Service, and staff recommends that since the permit expires December 31st this year, that we extend the permit for another 4 years through December 31st, 2027. There is a annual permit fee of $48,717, which means that this necessitates an increase in the project budget of $194,868 to finance that annual fee. And also, in addition to it, staff recommends that the general manager will have authority to execute the amendments to the permit should the board approve that recommendation. So with this, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Eva. Very great report, as usual. Are there any questions or comments from directors at this time? Mike?
I was intrigued by the use of the cell site revenue for State and National Park Service for this, and the provision that we have to use that revenue in agreement for projects agreed upon between us and the National Park Service. What else might we use it for? We were using it for this.
We used it to seismically retrofit the roundhouse, but mostly it's used for this. So when the district was approached by salt site companies 25 years ago, The Park Service objected to us using our facility for a non-authorized use. So Kim's predecessor worked out an agreement with the Park Service and the prior general managers that we would put it in a holding account that we control, but that we would jointly authorize the use of it. And it's always paid for this oversight of AVA's projects. And the one major capital project we did was the seismic retrofit of the roundhouse.
Dick?
Well, I know most, if not all of us, are huge fans of the National Park Service, and we're glad to provide them with some money. Is this something they have to approve, or we just pay them the fee?
So the Park Service is our landlord. We do not own the land here. So when the bridge was built, we got a permit from what was then called the Department of War, arguably very honest and aptly named, which later became the Army. When they closed the military installations, it remained federal land, but it was transferred to the Park Service. So they're the federal agency that oversees it. And our original permit from the Department of War says if we want to do a project, we need to get the Commandant's approval. And so the Park Service has discretionary approval authority over us. And so for the first seismic retrofit phase, they negotiated something where they would have staff kind of come and visit the job site, walk around, look at things, and look at our paperwork to make sure that we're not doing unpark-like things. And they want to be reimbursed for their costs. And so that's where we're at.
I'd love to continue the great relationship with the National Park Service. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments from colleagues? And that concludes our discussion on item number 3. But before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no one in the room speaking on this item. Justine, do you have anyone on your line speaking?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again. And may I have a motion on item number 3 to approve?
move, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, thank you. And instead of a roll call vote, I'm going to ask that all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Let the record show there is no opposition and the motion passes. We will continue on to agenda item number 4, which is to approve actions relative to the Golden Gate Bridge Physical Suicide Deterrent System project. The staff report begins on page 11, and Ava will also represent this report. Thanks, Ava.
So as a result of the project delay, an increase in the project budget is necessary to finance the extension of the construction management and engineering efforts by the engineering staff, but also by Secretariat International. This is our construction scheduling and estimating and claim review support consultant. So staff anticipates that the same level of oversight, administration, construction, engineering will be required during next year, and also the same level of effort would be required from Secretariat International. So as a result, we have estimated that there is necessity of increasing the budget by $4,200,000 to support the staff costs, and also $1,108,305 to provide extension of Secretariat services. That extension would be implemented to the 4th amendment to the professional services agreement with this consultant. So with this, this is the staff recommendation for the committee to recommend to the board that this increases in the budget, and also authorization to execute the 4th amendment with the consultant be approved. What it does to the project budget, it increases the budget by $5,308,305 for the total project budget of $224,416,041. This $5.3 million increase would be financed with district reserves. So with this, I'll be happy to answer committee's questions.
Colleagues, are there any questions or comments for Ava? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments? And this does conclude our discussion on the item, But before we take our vote, anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers in the room, and Justine has verified there's no speakers on the line.
Thank you again, and may I have a motion on item number 4 to approve actions relative to the Golden Gate Bridge Physical Deterrent System Project? Thank you, Polly.
Second.
Second, thank you, Jerry. Once again, I will ask those in favor to say aye. Is there anyone opposed to this item? Let the record show that there was no opposition and the motion passes. We will continue now on to agenda item number 5, which is the informational monthly report from board appointees on the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit Board. And I'll start off the report. And this may be why David's out of the room. I had asked for some assistance, but I'm sure it's a great report. And I'm reporting from October 18 and November 15 board meetings. Once again, SMART has the highest ridership recovery ratio in the Bay Area for the 6th month in a row now, and that was reported in both of our meetings. And it's just a little train that could, right? So it's really coming along quite nicely. And of course, the next month, we were able to say it was the 7th highest ridership in a row. In addition to that, and I know that there were many of you there, Dennis included, there was November 9th, a wonderful North Station Petaluma groundbreaking ceremony that took place, and I'm sure David would echo that as well. Over 200 people attended. It was absolutely joyous, and everyone looking forward to further extension up also to Windsor, and I'll get to that in just a moment. And more improvements to the mitigation of construction and non-motorized pathway impacts were also covered greatly by our engineer, Bill Gamlin, at our November 15th meeting. And then on to the $30 million that was given to SMART, Solutions for Congested Corridors Grant, Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities, that will allow the completion to Windsor, which made Deb Fudge extremely happy and joyous. And she's actually been on that board since its start. You know, I'm just going to suggest that they just name it after her, that station, at the next meeting. Finally, there was a lengthy discussion about freight storage and the potential for revenue from freight storage. Frankly, the growth and development of freight for SMART as an opportunity has been somewhat slow, but as someone reminded me, so was the start of BART's ridership, somewhat slow. So was the start of curbside recycling, somewhat slow. So eventually it is hoped that freight will come to fruition and grow even more. And with that, David, do you have anything to add to my report? Perfect timing. We could put you in charge of many things.
I have nothing to add.
Very PC answer. It's
Well said.
very well said. It's all good. And I'm just wondering if anyone might have any questions of that report.
No questions, just a comment, Chair.
Yes, go
I'd
ahead.
like to thank SMART and Eddie Cummins and the members of MTC as they came to Roanoke Park and took a physical tour of the downtown area. I hope it was very well received, and we really appreciate your cooperation and all of the enthusiasm for our project.
All good. Yes, David, go ahead.
I will follow up on that because I think that that trip really let us know how young SMART is as an entity and organization, and also on the right of way or the corridor. We started down in San Marin, and you look at the Fireman's Fund property. I think they have proposed 1,700 units over the course of time, of course, over the next 8-year cycle. 1,700 units there. Next up was Petaluma. Of course, they have 2 square blocks right next to the station for 500-600 units. Immediately adjacent, plus others within that quarter mile. We went to Roanoke Park, where we were met, and had a conversation with your downtown, 400 units.
Correct.
Plus again, other opportunities. And then Santa Rosa, who's building hundreds of units as well, and has a few more hundred in the pipeline, many more hundred in the pipeline. So all those opportunities really bode well for SMART. And part of that, the reason that we did that as the MTC North Bay contingent, was to make sure that we can talk about the ridership potential that will only grow over the course of time along the corridor for the train with all those different housing pieces. Of course, housing being an important component of everything that we do. Thank you.
All good. Thank you, David. Just wondering, as that concludes our discussion on this item, is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item, or anyone online?
We have no speakers on the line nor in the room.
And as you all know, there's no required action on item number 5, so we'll continue on to agenda item number 6, the staff report, and for Ava on engineering projects that begin on page 23. And please proceed.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my written report is before you, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have for me.
Wonderful. Colleagues, are there any questions of Ava about her report? Seeing none, there is no action that is associated then with this item. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item or online?
We have no speakers for this item.
Okay, that will then move us on to item number 7, which is public comment. Any other public comments?
Nothing else.
Okay, thank you. We have reached the end of the agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved, Rabbit.
Thank you. Everyone wants everyone to leave. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, Gary, thank you. Hearing no objections, this concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee. Thank you, colleagues. The time is 17 minutes after we started the meeting, or 11:20.